Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Crew Bites. Today we'll be making French pastry cookies, Palmiers. That's very similar to the little hearts biscuits we get in India. These cookies are very light, crispy, flaky and made up of just 3 ingredients. Palmiers are very easy to make and can be a perfect combination with tea or coffee. So let's start making these delicious cookies. So for making these cookies, you need frozen puffs pastry sheets. Here I'm using 3 of them. With each sheet you get about 12 cookies. Unsalted butter 50 grams, granulated sugar half cup plus an additional 1/3 cup, cinnamon powder, this is optional to give an added flavor, about 1 teaspoon. So now let's get to the preparation part. So at first you need to melt the butter and set aside. And to the 1/3 cup of sugar, I'm adding about 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Mix well. Adding cinnamon powder is optional. If you do not like the flavor of cinnamon, you can omit cinnamon. And you also need an additional half to 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. So the melted butter, the cinnamon and sugar mix and plain sugar is now ready. Now sprinkle the work surface with granulated sugar, couple of tablespoons. Thaw the puff pastry sheets until they are able to be rolled out but still cold and not too soft, and then transfer the sheet onto the sugar surface. Also sprinkle some sugar on top of the sheet as shown and just spread it out with your hands. Then using a rolling pin, just roll it out lightly so that the sugar sticks to the sheet, and carefully flip it over and then brush the sheet with melted butter. Just apply a very thin coat and then generously sprinkle over the cinnamon sugar mix to ensure an even coating over this butter. You can spread lightly with your hands if needed so that they are evenly spread out. Now carefully fold one edge over just a little as shown, and then from this edge tightly roll the pastry up evenly until you get to the middle of the pastry sheet. Just make sure you roll them up really tight. And then from the other end, repeat the same way, a small fold on the edge, then roll up that side until you meet the other roll in the middle. Make sure the rolls are the same size. You can adjust the size slightly once rolled up as well. Now transfer the rolled pastry onto a baking paper as shown and wrap firmly, and we're going to chill in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you want, you can keep it in the freezer, but for 10 to 15 minutes. So this is the second pastry sheet which I've rolled up as before, but this time I've rolling it up in a cling wrap. So you can either use a baking paper or a cling wrap. Repeat the same with the remaining third sheet as well. So while the sheets are being chilled, preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So now the pastry sheets are out of the refrigerator. They're hard enough to cut them to pieces. So using a sharp knife, trim off the edges and then slice them into pieces roughly about 1.5 centimeters thick, and then transfer them onto a cookie tray lined with baking paper. So now the palmiers are ready to be baked. Bake them in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 7 to 8 minutes until golden on both sides. But do remember to flip them over halfway through so that they are evenly baked and slightly golden on both sides. Just be careful to ensure that the sugar doesn't burn. So the palmiers are out of the oven and they are baked to golden, as you can see. If you like, you can sprinkle some sugar on top of these cookies once they are out of the oven, or once they are cooled completely, you can just roll them in sugar. But this is optional. And allow them to cool in the tray itself for 5 minutes and then transfer to a cooling rack to cool completely. So our tasty and crispy palmiers are now ready. They'll get more crisp once they cool, and keep them stored in an airtight container and they'll stay fresh for about 2 to 3 days. So do give it a try. These quick and easy palmiers make a perfect combination with your evening tea or coffee. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe, like and share. New videos are uploaded every Tuesday and Friday. Until then, goodbye.